Hello viewers, my name is Jordan Golson and this is the brand new Range Rover, and you'll be forgiven if you think, isn't that the old Range Rover? Because they do look very similar. But there have been nips and tucks and the interior has been redone and there's all sorts of fanciness in here to basically take the existing Range Rover and don't mess with it too much, but turn up the luxury and the tech, and that is what they have done. This is the SV, which stands for Special Vehicle. And it is very special and is $218,000 to start. So let's start on the outside. From the front, it looks like a Range Rover, big Range Rover lettering across there. It's got new headlights, it's got new DRLs, it's got a lot of presence, and it looks fantastic, which is what this car is all about. Moving around from the front, you have these little things on the doors, which have been there for like 13 years or something, since sort of the new generation of Range Rovers came out, and they kind of cut up the front. We were talking to the designer last night and they're very intentional about sort of splitting the front of the car from the passenger cabin, and it's a visual cue and all that, and it looks very nice. The basic lines of the car really have not changed from the prior Range Rover. I like to think that this is the car that very wealthy people drive when they're not being chauffeured around. The Queen drives a Range Rover. Rebecca Welton, who's the owner of the Richmond AFC football team in Ted Lasso, she drives herself in a Range Rover. The back is perhaps where the most dramatic changes have been made, to the lighting especially, and I think it makes it look even a little bit bigger than normal in person, just because of the way it sort of tucks around on the sides and then it comes to the light. The designer called it a boat tail design, and you can see it's sort of tucking in at the sides behind the rear wheels and coming to the back. It still has the clamshell rear tailgate, which I love. It is the essence of Range Rover-ness. Coming to the inside is where things get really special. This is beautiful leather. These front seats have hot stone massage, which is what I'm using right now. They have a million different massage modes, heated, cooled. They adjust in a zillion different ways. They're just incredibly comfortable. Big screen here in the middle. I love that. That's over-the-air upgradable. Big screen here. So you got all the tech stuff, but it's all the touch points, the leather, and these in the SV are actually ceramic. So they feel like cool to the touch, and they're so neat. You got the shift knob here, you have the volume knob for the stereo, you can change the drive modes, start stop button. They're all covered in this ceramic and it just feels incredibly elegant. So you push this open, you got in there phone charger, storage, USB ports. In here, this slides back, and then you've got two cup holders, and then this slides back again, and you have an enormous bin, which is where the car key is, and some more USB ports. So there's just storage for days up here, and then in here you have a cool box with two different temperatures. So you can have one blue light or two blue lights, and that'll change the temperature. It's not a refrigerator, so it won't stay that cold, but it will keep your chocolate from melting. Very comfortable seats, commanding view of the road. You can adjust the headrest, so you can make it go up and down and forward and back. There's basically a ton of different seat adjustment modes in here. So here we go. You can adjust the lumbar, you can adjust the side bolsters, you can adjust the headrest, you can adjust the cushion forward and back separate of everything out. There's just a million different modes. This big screen, very responsive. I like that a lot, and they've added a new haptic touch mode. So if I go into settings here, you can hit haptic feedback, and what it does is every time you touch a button, the screen actually vibrates and it makes a little clicky noise, so you know that you've touched it. And so you can actually feel the screen go vroom, vroom. I can't obviously show it, but it's really pretty cool. And so if you're wondering, oh, did I touch the thing? Yeah, you did, and that's fantastic. It's got all kinds of different modes. It is an off-roader, so if you want to go off-roading, you can, but there's a 4x4i menu here. Do not exceed vehicle limits and capabilities. Well, I'm not worried about that. So this guy is fully loaded, and you wouldn't necessarily expect all of this in a hardcore luxury SUV. But locking center diff, locking rear diff, it uses torque vectoring using the brakes, and measures all kinds of stuff. It's got adaptive suspension, and it'll move up and down. There's a couple of different modes, one for off-road, which is a higher height, and then a lower ride height for entry and exit to make that a little bit easier. It's got wade sensing, and so it uses the ultrasonic sensors at the front of the car to determine how deep water is and if it's safe enough to move through it. That's kind of neat. You have a whole terrain response program, so you can configure the differentials. You can manually lock them if you want. You can do stuff to the powertrain, change the heaviness of the steering, stuff like that. Or you can go in here and just change the drive modes. So there is dynamic, eco, comfort, grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, wade, and configurable. Okay, we'll leave that in auto. So when you use the nav here, you do get the big nav on the center screen. You also get it here on the instrument cluster, and I also have it in the heads-up display, which shows digital speed, it shows the speed limit, it shows what the next turn is, it shows all kinds of stuff up there to help you figure out where you're going. You have a zillion different settings in here, and I cannot get through all of the quirks and features, so to speak, but some other stuff that's kind of neat is the onboard cameras, and there's a few different versions of those, and there's actually a really neat 3D mode that will show you from the exterior, and it uses some camera magic to show you what the car looks like from the outside. And it shows you like what the wheels are next to and where it is on the road and all sorts of stuff. And so when you are off-roading, this is a very useful feature. There's even a special off-road screen here, and so it shows you the current status of the suspension, the locking diffs, where the front wheels are, because if you're trying to navigate your way between some obstacles, that's useful. But this has 23-inch wheels with Pirelli Scorpion street tires. We did try it yesterday on some relatively gnarly off-road trails, and it did really well. This is not a vehicle that's going to go off-road very often, but isn't it nice to know you could? I guess if you own a vineyard and you're trying to make it up a muddy trail or something to check on your wine, then this is great. It's going to get you there. I think more of these are probably going to stay on the road, but it is certainly extremely capable if you want it to be, or if you just want to buy the best. This has a ton of tech too. This has the Meridian signature audio system, and the most amazing thing about that is it has an active noise cancellation. There are microphones outside the car, under the hood, around the sides, and this actually has speakers in the headrest that emits a canceling tone to sort of numb out the sound of the engine and things. Now, it's raining right now, so things are a bit louder, but yesterday it was so quiet that the wind noise was really apparent, and we talked to one of the engineers about it, and he said that the wind noise is the hardest thing to cancel out because it's at a higher frequency, whereas engine noise, tire noise, things like that are easier because they're at lower frequencies and you can sort of cancel them out more easily. But this car is all about luxury, and so if you can reduce the noise and increase the comfort, people are going to like it that much better. This one has a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8, 530 horsepower and about the same number of torque, and I don't love this engine as much. The other option, which I don't think is even available in the SV, is a inline 6 twin turbo 3 liter mild hybrid with a 48 volt system. I drove that last year in the Land Rover Defender and really, really liked it. And even though this is a heavy car, that thing still gets 400 horsepower and 400 torque or thereabouts. I think it's 395, something like that, which is plenty. This one isn't even that much more, and I like that engine a lot better. It's smoother. It's just, that's the one I'd go for. Now, there is a plug-in hybrid version coming, which is going to have a 38 kilowatt-hour battery, which is massive and should let you go close to 40 miles. That's going to be exciting when that comes later this year. And then there will be a full electric version coming probably 2024 or a little bit later. Now, I am a little bit of a snob. My favorite car is the Rolls-Royce Ghost. But if I were going to drive a car every day, it might end up being this one because you do get cargo space and you do get insane comfort and luxury, especially in this trim. And so I guess this is competing with things like the Bentley Bentayga, Mercedes GLS, maybe the G-Wagon too. Lincoln Navigator, though this one in the SV trim at $200,000 is really in rarefied air. But it is so luxurious and so pretty. And this one has some amazing stuff. This is a 4-seater, even though it's the long wheelbase. So this is the one to get chauffeured in. And so you sit in back and you've got a table that pops out of the center thing, and you've got a refrigerator, and it's got chilled glasses and room for champagne. There's a rear footrest. The rear seats are massaging as well. This is just the ultimate in luxury and comfort. But since Land Rover said their goal was to take the existing Range Rover, which was already quite good, and ramp up the luxury and the comfort and the tech, but not change anything else, that's what they've done. I love the new screen. I love this. The leather is fantastic, and there's a ton of different leather options. If you have a particular color you want, you can do that, but they also have some preset ones. There's sort of a darker, mysterious one called Intrepid, and then this one is a bit lighter and friendlier, and it's called Serenity, and I feel very serene in here. It's quiet, and I'm not being disturbed by the rain at all. I'm just driving along, about to go explore my vineyard or whatever. Even if you never take the Range Rover off-road, this is supreme luxury. And if you do take it off-road, it's very capable theoretically. 23-inch tires are what are fitted to this one. It's not going to be terrific unless your definition of off-road is like a vaguely muddy forest trail, or you're going to go hunting for foxes or something like that. But if you're actually going off-road, Moab, something like that, this is not the vehicle for you. But that's okay, because we know who's going to buy this, and it's not going to be those folks, but it will be folks who appreciate a ceramic shift knob. And God, it feels so nice. This is like crazy luxury. I love this. I don't know if anyone else is doing ceramic stuff. You even got the temperature knobs here are ceramic as well. It's very, very cool. So that is my first look at the 2022 Range Rover SV. These are starting to show up in dealers now, and there will be more later in the year. Like I said, plug-in hybrid and full electric versions are coming down the road, and probably some more stuff from Range Rover as well, like a new Range Rover Sport. Excited for that. If you enjoyed watching this review, click here to watch another one. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Drive safely.